Civil Aviation Minister Hardeep Puri made a statement in Parliament that if Air India's privatization was not to succeed by year end, it will have to be shut down. I have two observations on this statement. First, that it's a belated realization on the part of the government that time is running out for Air India. Second, the choice of words could have been better. To say that Air India will have to be shut down implies that the government will take some measures to stop operations of Air India, whereas the logical statement should have been that Air India will fly into oblivion if Air India is not given adequate funds for growth, because as it gets marginalized, fewer people will be patronizing Air India. And as we all know, that private airlines have big plans of aircraft induction, which will lead to marginalization of Air India. Sensing what will happen or how the story of Air India will unfold in the years, I had as early as 2014, 3 months after Narendra Modi government assumed power, written an article in the Business Standard that there is a need for putting Air India's privatization on the front burner. I wish the government had heeded my advice. I had subsequently another article in the Economic Times just to draw the attention of the government that time was running out for Air India. Written an article in the Economic Times, and they had very aptly put a headline: "No more delay in departure." Followed it up with another article after the government had initiated the disinvestment process in 2018, that it will either be now or never. This was to highlight the urgency. Government has taken its own time. 6 precious years have gone by after Narendra Modi's government assumed charge, and it is now that the minister is making a statement that if the privatization is not achieved, Air India will be closed down. I had as early as 2013, while writing my book, The Descent of Air India, very categorically stated that after June 2009, when Arvind Jadhav, the then chairman of Air India, had laid bare the pathetic financial situation of Air India, which had earlier been surreptitiously hidden from the public, very categorically stated that he deserved credit, number one. Number two, the government did take note of the pathetic financial situation of Air India. But the government was forced to act, undoubtedly. It did act swiftly, but instead of tackling the core problem, the lack of a strategic and operational direction within the airline, it decided to focus on a financial package. This was no solution at all. And if I had to use an analogy, I would say that it was like applying a fresh coat of paint to a crumbling house. All of us were being made to believe that the airline's survival was but a matter of infusion of funds. The government, and in fact all those involved with the decision, were thereby oversimplifying a hugely complex issue. The reality is that Air India's survival hangs on several pegs, most notably the induction of a professional management with an effective leadership, a sound financial package that does not come with political interference in day-to-day operations, unions allowing changes in work conditions and pay packages, removal of all hurdles in the way of the merger, and of course, commitment, faith, and prayer. To be able to fly again, Air India had to find the will to get back on its wings. Now let's look at what has the government done since May 2014. It has continued the practice of appointing bureaucrats to head the airline. Have they really contributed? With no sense of commitment to the organization besides having no domain knowledge, Air India has only got increasingly marginalized. It is in this context that I find a silver lining in the minister's statement. People may criticize it, and unions have already written a letter to Prime Minister Narendra Modi that the choice of words or the statement of the minister was unwarranted. One can disagree with the choice of words, but the reality is the government has finally realized that Air India's needs to be given a professional management. It also perhaps realizes that under its ownership, that's an impossible task. So let's hope the privatization terms and conditions are so thought of by the government that it not only suits the government but also the potential acquirer. Any business deal must satisfy both sides. Thank you.